Alrighty guys, good day, good day. Hello. we all doing this morning? I hope we're well. Oops. Hello. We're all doing this morning. I hope we're well. Oh, hold on a sec. That's better. Alrighty, guys. Welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, as always, a very good evening. Sorry about the late start as per the usual, guys, on a Tuesday. Not much I can do about it, but nonetheless, we are here. We've had some high impact news, which has just been released on the pound just recently, about 30 minutes ago. It did come out as, well, less than the, well, greater than previous, but less than forecast. So climate change is the amount, is the number, and if people claiming unemployment related benefits, obviously. So obviously if there are more than what the forecast was, that would obviously be bad for the economy. So it means there's more people obviously claiming unemployment after money from the government. So therefore there'll be less people spending within the economy. So GDP will likely have will also feel the pain of that, obviously. So that's just come out recently. Obviously it's come out better than previous, but worse than forecast. So I'm not sure how much of an impact that's going to have on the currency itself. Unemployment rate also came out as per the forecast. So unemployment going up as well. So once again, that would suggest there's less people probably spending within the economy. Although obviously, I think it was GDP last week came out as positive. So it's a little bit conflicting. Obviously, Britain, UK out of recession at the moment. And still looking towards softening with rate cuts potentially in June, from what I'm hearing throughout the Euro sector as well, and UK. So that's the news. Let's without further ado though, let's take a look at the charts, do what we do best, analyze the charts and see what we can come up with moving forward today. Just quickly have a look at gold. Is there anything? Oh, gold was very tempted in selling it to broke its own low yet again, but I literally just got on the charts myself, so this current candle would have made the move, but nonetheless, all good. We can reassess and we can again work out what we've got moving forward, plan ahead and wait patiently. So starting with, as always, GJ, and we will start the weekly time frame. And the weekly, once again, very strong bullish candle. So that previous candle was a strong bullish candle, current candle is forming once again very strong bullish, high low to the previous. Do have some room to the upside based off the weekly time frame. I have no need to pull back and break our own low if we were to continue bullish. So looking like we could continue to the upside again. The daily as well, bullish in structure, bullish in counter probabilities. Current daily though, if it does continue bullish, there's no need to pull back and break its own low. So we're just going to mark that level in to begin, see what we've got below it. We're also going to see what we've got above it. I'm pretty sure into some clean traffic. We're likely at this stage going to be looking for trades either side of the high or low, or below the high, or just above the low at this rate by the looks of it. So onto the four-hour. Once again, could argue it's bearish, could argue it's bullish. You know what, guys, I'm just going to call it bullish because it is in such a big uptrend. And once again, we're forming higher lows, higher highs. The volume, not a great deal of volume throughout the Asian session, but that's all good. We've broken high the previous 4-hour candle. If we break our own high, looks like we do have possibly a bit of room to the left. We are approaching this wick to the left, but the actual next proper resistance on the 4 hours until the highs are 197.40 roughly. So just gonna mark in most recent support formed, and as for the resistance, I'll mark something in on the M30, and also I'll mark them all in on the M30 actually. So 30 minute. All right, so we've just recently broken the current daily candle high at the back of the news. Above that level, we have some pretty clean traffic to the left. I'm just going to mark in a resistance at this point here. So we've definitely got some clean traffic to the left. We are rejecting previous support though, if we were to look back to the left as well. So as far as the most recent resistance formed, I'm going to mark in that level just there on the M30 and change that to blue. And we remain above it. We could almost look for possible GJ buys moving forward into London Open. Just depends when this candle closes at this stage. What have we got? The 15. So at this rate on GJ, so the bias is bullish across the board. I'm going to be looking at one of a few things. So either this candle closes weak bearish, but above that previous level of resistance we've just broken out of, I will look for continuation buy above that bearish candle's high at London Open as price begins to break it. Anticipation we should pull up to retest the current daily candle's high, and with clean traffic to the left, likely to continue to the upside and potentially all the way up to 197, 197.15. That's a level there. So at this stage, buys above the current daily candle's high, potential buys above the current 30-minute candle's high, the bearish candle at the moment, the way it's forming. We just need to wait and see. Otherwise, pullbacks, well, technically we're going to flip bearish and a closure below this wick here on the last bullish candle, the last candle itself, that bullish candle. However, as long as we really remain above this support, I'll just drag it down just below the current daily candle's low, 196.088. I would say we're bullish. I'm still going to call it technically bullish on the 30-minute. So if we do pop back down to that support, what I'm going to be looking for is my cow swing price action to look for a potential buy and take it back up towards the current daily candle's high, similar to what we had just here to the left. That would really be something I'd look for. That would suffice. So I'm just going to drag this zone down a little bit. So buys above the support. Now, once again, as I mentioned at the beginning of the analysis on GJ, if we were to continue bullish, we should really respect the current daily candle's low. We should respect that support just below it. We start to pop below it. We're going to flip the 30-minute structure bearish. Not only that, we've got some clean traffic to the left. I feel there's a good opportunity at that point to take a sell all the way back down roughly to that 4-hour resistance. We could end up heading back down towards 195.50, lines up the resistance here to the left, and potentially down to 195.20 or 195.30. So sells below the support for me would make perfect sense. Got plenty of catalyst at that point there. Also the 4-hour at that point will be breaking the most recent support as well. So for GJ at the moment, I would prefer to buy it at this rate, just a matter of where it closes in the next 17 and a bit minutes. I'm not going to take an entry prior to it. That bearish candle on 15 puts me off. I'd rather just wait patiently for the 30 minutes close and either give me the option to buy it at London Open above this candle for close week bearish, or buy it upon continuation potentially above the high. We may have options for limit orders, we'll have to wait and see, but at this rate, buys above the high look to be the probable scenario. So that is GJ. Veggie food lover, I've already timed you out on a last stream. I'm gonna have to do it again. Stop spamming the chat with bullshit, my friend. Stupid emoji things in a way. Can someone just type in a message so I can time out this veggie food lover dude? I can't do it because it's stupid emoji. Oh, here we go. All right, goodbye, my friend. All right, so on to gold. Let's have a look. So gold, I was looking. First, when I literally just got home, put the charts on, I turned on the PC, had a look. Gold was popping about a bit. I thought it breaks on low, it's a good chance to head down. But to be honest, I wasn't prepared, so thought I'd wait, do the proper analysis, do the rundown, and see what we've got moving forward into today's session. So starting at the weekly time frame. And once again, strong bullish on that previous weekly candle. Have we pulled back to the 50? We have. And so far we are respecting that level. So I'm just going to mark it in again. So you mentioned it in the analysis and over the weekend. I've seen to the Discord group that this level is pretty critical in my opinion. If we are to hold it in minor time frames, that could be us ready to flip back and head back towards the open of this weekly candle, potentially retesting the high of the previous and continuing to the upside. However, if we start to form a resistance below that level, there is a good opportunity, I feel, for price to continue to the downside. And we'll be looking for potential levels to get involved in trades. Based off that previous daily candle, strong bearish engulfing the current candles create a significant upper wick. Look where it tapped into. Who remembers those sell limit orders from last week? Exact same shit. It just relates on all the different time frames. So even on the daily would have given you options. So current daily is still bullish, respecting low of the previous. If we begin to pop below the previous candle's low, we're popping below at 50%, and we've got some clean traffic to the left. We're likely to make a deeper pullback into around that 23.10 sort of level yet again, potentially, and really trading back in this 4-hour range that we're stuck in throughout the whole of last week. So technically, though, we are bullish in structure, but we do have counter probabilities at this stage to the downside. On to the 4-hour, that also remains bullish in structure. But we have since on the pullback formed a lower high. If we begin to break below the previous daily candle, we'll also be forming a lower low as long as we start to close below it. So once again, below that level, we've got some pretty clean traffic to the left. We've also got a support formed on the 4 hour at the current level, which lines up with the 50% of that previous weekly candle. We've also got the resistance. So let's see what we've got either side of that. And at this rate, it looks like we could be looking for buys above the current daily candle's high upon continuation and potential sells below the current daily candle's low. So I'm just going to move that horizontal across. We know it's around 50% of that previous weekly candle. All right. So the issue of the sells below the current daily candle, we're running straight into another support. It opens up a bit more, feel below the low of the previous daily candle, the lowest point, and that is actually the support on the 30 minutes. So it is fine to drag it down now. Gonna remove that. Do have some support here to the left though, but I feel that right now for gold, we've got a few opportunities, right? Well, not right now, but moving forward. What I'll be looking for is price to either pull back up to retest the current daily candle's high. If we reject, even if we pop above, we've got a strong level of resistance here on the 4 hour. As long as we reject that level, start to form some catalyst within price action at that level, a little bit of structure to the downside, lower highs, lower lows, then I can look for my potential sells once again upon rejection of 4 hour resistance. Upon pulling back, just to retest the level of resistance formed within the current weekly candle, which is forming strong bearish. If we do respect resistance formed within the current weekly candle on the 30-minute and 4 hour time frames, then what we're likely to do is continue to the downside until that fails. So if that fails, what I want to see is closures above. If we do begin to close above, then I feel there's a high probability for price to pull back up, potentially up to 23.60, and eventually pulling back to retest the current weekly / previous weekly candles high and potentially continue bullish. So I put buys above that resistance at 23.49.43 to be exact. Sells really anywhere below it. I'll just mark it here for the time being. That bullish candle wick. Now we've made a relatively clean move at the moment. So what I really like to do, what I like to see right now is price push down to that 23.34. That would be ideal, and then form a little bit of structure at that point there. And once again, look for price to begin to bounce off that level. Look for my catalyst within price action to potentially buy from the support. So just be playing a range as per the usual, guys. You're looking for buys. If we respect that previous daily candle's low, I'd be looking for buys upon price rejecting, bouncing off. Now, sell options as we begin to break it, lower high, lower low. On the daily, we pulled back quite significantly within the previous daily candle. On the current, we likely grabbed a fair bit of liquidity if we begin to break the low. I know we've got this to the left, but I feel there's opportunities to take it down at least 25 or so pips to 23.30, 23.29.80. And if we have the volume momentum, we could really potentially come back down further towards that 23.22. So I'm just going to play it range bound at the moment on gold. Sells below the resistance as long as we reject really anywhere between buys above it, buys above the support, sells below the support. In between, who knows, we might get a pause candle somewhere and that could trigger a potential limit order buy or sell if it does just rip. Limit order sell or buy if it does just bounce off this support and rip to the upside. So that's the options on gold. So right now, build focus is likely to be on GJ. So hopefully it all makes sense, guys. Got 10 minutes remaining until the open. And I will likely quickly have a look at GU and probably leave NAS till possibly after the open. Sorry guys, just one moment. All right, flipping now. This is not really what I want to see, to be honest. But still, we've got 9.5 minutes remaining. Let's just wait patiently, see where we're at. So looking at GU, guys, let's do the rundown on GU. All right, so starting the weekly once again. Current weekly is still forming bullish. Very difficult to know what to make of the weekly after that previous weekly candle closing weak bearish, low high, low low. Still below the previous support here to the left. Probably above another support though, a little bit further to the left. Kind of feel we're stuck now between 125.50 and 126 flat on the higher time frame. And look at that, so approaching a really strong level of resistance now, or at the really strong level of resistance on the daily time frame. Structure wise, we are bearish. We do have counter probabilities to the upside. Hard to ignore where we're at though in the higher time frame picture, right at that resistance. 4 hour, you can see quite evidently here it's at a resistance. Structure wise, it does remain bullish. It's hard to buy it into the resistance. I mean, where do you even draw it? Just gonna draw that in. Above it, got some clean traffic, so you want to pop above 127.70, 125.70, sorry, for potential buys on GU. Now that's likely going to be a blue zone. Let's go to the 30-minute. So previous daily close strong bullish. So the M30 will technically remain bullish until we really close below swing point 125.260. However, seeing we are at a 4 hour resistance, so we're at a key level. You always got to ask yourself, where are we within the high time frame picture? And we are sitting right at a key level now on GU at a 4 hour resistance. So therefore, if we were to begin to reject and pop below this consolidation, this support formed on the way up at just below the resistance, then I would look for closures below, and I would look to definitely take a sell back down below 125.470 for the sells. Now obviously if we do pull back down to 125.250, roughly 270, I'd be looking for buys above. We're technically still going to remain bullish on 30-minute current weekly. We're also technically still, will still be forming bullish, so could be just a pullback. When we pull back, we look to see if we're forming to the upside. We want to see the pullbacks to the downside be met by support at previous levels of support, or confirmations of support at previous levels of support. If that's to be the case, then we could look for potential buyers. If that fails and we begin to pop below it, then in this case we wouldn't necessarily be selling into the support below that level 125.250 because we're running to another support. But what we could do is, it's definitely options below 125.175, or we could look for that pullback for price to create a lower high after dropping down towards that 125.27, 125.30. So like so, if we break that support, pull back, create a lower high, retest that resistance for instance, and reject and look for a sell once again below that 125.50 sort of level. Buys above the high as mentioned before. Otherwise buys from lower down, and otherwise sells from below support as well. That's quickly GU. Still a bit of a mess at the moment. We've got 5.5 minutes left. What's GT up to? All right, let me quickly look at as. See if I can smash this out in quick time. So weekly has respected the high of the previous, still not create much of a low wick. Previous weekly was a strong bullish candle. Daily structure is technically still bearish at closing in on that resistance. Previous few candles closing long wicks to the upside, suggesting potential signs of exhaustion. Going to mark in the current daily candles low onto the 4 hour. Broken above this resistance, but are currently rejecting and now playing within the previous resistance here to the left, and the resistance we've just formed to the upside yesterday and at the end of last week. So still below the high of the previous weekly candle. Technically bullish in structure. I'd want to see price remain really above probably 125.227 roughly if we were to continue bullish, but just a bit below it just now. 30-minute structure remains bearish, and we do reject that swing point here yesterday. So off the back of that, it is a strong level. If price does pull back right now, I don't see potential buys at this point because you're running into resistance after resistance. So what I prefer, if I was to look for a buy, first of all, just gonna mark in some minor support just here. I like to see price cut through this shit to the left, cut through the resistance, create a clear move up, look for rejections from the resistance once again, respecting the 30-minute structure, staying bearish, and I can look for my sells from higher up. However, if we do pull back and make a strong clean move up, clean move down, then what I'll be looking for is my signals in price action to take a buy back up towards the current daily / weekly high. And if you have the volume momentum above that level, you've got some clean traffic to the left. So that is quickly a look into NAS. So I'll just drag this down now. So buys above yesterday's high upon a closure above it. Sells really below the resistance. Shit. Buys from support. And at this stage, I'm not all that sure about the sells below the support because you've got these wicks to the left. You got another support not far to the downside over to the left here. Not so concerned about the bearish candle, but we've got another wick here to the left on which did close a bullish candle, which was during yesterday's NY session. So you can almost drag this down, guys. Yeah, it's a tricky one on NAS, to be honest. It's just a slow trickle to the upside right now. I'm gonna see a bit of volume come in, pull back to the support to buy it from support. Otherwise, let it create the clear move up, see where we're at moving forward. Now let's focus, guys. So two seconds. All right, so GJ looks like it could be closing week bearish. So what I want to see is price close above this resistance first of all. Then I want to see a lower form on the new candle. Then what I'll be looking for is a buy as it breaks the high of that bearish candle. So my broker, the high of that candle is 196.519. So I'll be looking at about 196.535. In the meantime, Franco, good morning to you, brother. Sexy, good morning. Lau, good morning. Dorothy, good morning. Morning to you, Carl. Good to see you, Mr. Ben Shaven. Hope you're well, brother. Steve, good morning to you too. Discord post analysis before, more or less the same as you. Nice one. We'll take a look at it shortly, my friend. So, guys, if you have not done so yet, please do hit the like button. Let's patiently wait to see. GJ does give a bit of an option. $15-minute break and retest on the 15 as well. So I feel if we do, I want it to close above, but I want it to start closing back below. But I want it to see it create a lower wick. All right, so we've got 20 seconds remaining. We are closing above the most recent resistance. So we could be looking at potential GJ buys at the open. Lower wick forming. Decent lower wick. And then I will look to place a buy. All right. Got that lower wick. Not set it just yet. London open. Good thing is, we know there's a good chance it's going to pull up and create an upper wick, and we'll just pop straight down. So, should be right if it begins to break. Usually like to let the first minute or so play out. Magic Tech by GJ, potentially. Yeah, so I've got a buy stop in at 38.35. Stop loss just below low of the the previous candle. I'm just adjusting that now. I've got 8.4, the actual stop loss. That's what I'm looking at, guys. So yeah, at least just pull straight down. This is looking okay. How did gold close? Yeah, so gold's just close to this support. Nothing for me on gold right now. Just need to let it do its thing for a bit. See if it comes back down to this support, if it respects it for potential buys later on. Or if it pops back up to this resistance for maybe a sell. Brooks, what broker and platform are you? So you're still using Magic Keys too? I still am. Just find it easier to manage my trades. So I've got the on-screen version and the toolkit. The little calculator. The on-screen version I don't actually have it active at the moment. But that's good enough, and it's a lot cheaper. Broker, IC markets. Still IC markets. Yeah. Might change that up moving forward. Are you consolidating? So we'll see. Can we keep the win streak alive, guys? I think it's about 11 or so. Around 10 or 11 on stream. And my own personal trading, it's one or two more than that. I only trade a few times away from the stream. And they'll also win, so I've been doing really well. Now, when will this become invalid as an entry? For me, likely if it breaks the low, or if we start closing back below, even on the 15-minute back below its previous resistance. At that point there, I'm likely just going to need to wait for counter closures yet again. And if price just begins to pop up without giving me that closure, then I'm not in the trade, no FOMO. Just create the rules and stick to the plan, that's it. About to hit 1k subs. I haven't even checked it to be honest. What am I at now? Yeah, not far off, 918. So thank you to you guys, it's been fantastic. Getting the sub count out very quickly, a lot quicker than what I anticipated, so appreciate you guys. So yeah, I haven't quite come up with the giveaway, what I'm going to do for it, but there'll be something more special than usual. Yeah, have to see what I can come up with. Hopefully it's enough for a coffee. Hardly. I'm not even monetized yet. And even when I am, it will literally be like, no, it might be enough to pay for a tank of petrol, as we call it here. Or fuel, or gas. Depends where you are, Noah. Literally, that's what I might make a month from it. You don't get much, because obviously it's not the type of stream that gets thousands of views. But who knows? I may do so in the future. I'm a driven dude. I think you guys know it already. I don't stop until I get what I want. So, same with everything in life. Same with my beautiful lady. Never gave up hope. Look what I have today. So, Mr. Ben Chamberlain, I think I do give way too much for free, but I enjoy doing it. I enjoy helping the gang out, so better than kicking the nuts a little bit. All right, so I'm likely gonna very shortly remove the buy stop. Gonna send in a link for the Zoom chat if anyone is interested into the Discord. Alright, so right now I'm going to remove the order on GJ. It's broken a low. I don't like the way it's pulling back. At this rate, I'd rather just wait a little bit longer. Wait to see how candles close now. If it does begin to flip, so the one thing you do have going is the fact that now it's broken the low of that previous candle. It has no need whatsoever, if it was to continue bearish, to pull back up, break its own high, and the previous candle's high. If it does so, and likely what it's done is just grab liquidity from this previous range below, from this area consolidation, and if it begins to flip, break above, then we are likely heading up. So I'm just going to line it back up. I'm not going to set it, but I'm going to line it back up just in case. So at the very same spot as before, 3.5. But I'm not actually seeing it just yet. Another reason is because now I have to adjust my stop loss to the current candle's low if it does begin to flip. So no entries for me, guys, just waiting patiently. Is there a limit order on gold? No. If this was clean, we didn't have this here, then I would say is limit order opportunity at the low of that bullish candle as price pulls back into it and rejects it. But what we could be doing just now is really ping-ponging, consolidate between this support and that previous support. So that to me is the reason why I would not take that limit order entry. Had we not had this and was just clean traffic to the left, straight bullish candles, then I would definitely contemplate a limit order sell back below of that previous support. Price will tap in. We've not yet done so. Tap in, reject, get to break even or TP as it flips. However, I'm not as comfortable with it because it could just bounce off, create a higher low, pops above this resistance, higher high, and begin to trend back to the upside to retest the current daily candles high. So not interested in that entry. Steve, keep hoping, my friend. Not a problem, man. You take care on the school run. I'll try to refrain from saying some bad words. You got the little one. Well, you're not he's that little, but you got the son in the car. Let's see, we're going to get options today. Nothing yesterday. Was there much yesterday during MY? I've not even bothered to look just yet. Would have been difficult to get involved in gold, I feel, just here. Central buys just there. Would have been tricky though. GJ, when did all this happen? Yeah, so GJ probably gave a few options actually into MY session. So hopefully some of you managed to get involved. If you did, let me know. Sorry, it makes him laugh. Oh, shout out to your boy, mate. Listen to your old man as well. Don't be a pain in the ass. And Ben's asking, has he learnt to use MT5 yet? You'd hope so by now. He probably knows how to trade by now if he listens to me in the car every day on the way to school. Probably better trader than us. All right, gold. What are we doing? So we are respecting this previous support just now. Not all that keen on buying it though. If it does begin to flip, more form support, I mean, at this point here. However, what we are doing is forming some higher lows of it's not really a strong support though forming. I mean, it's just consolidation. So it is a strong level, but we're not really creating anything concrete at the moment. It's essentially just stuck in this area. The higher lows are minimal. They're barely even higher lows, to be honest. What do I need to see to buy it? Well, if this was the closure of the M30, you'd have a catalyst just there. Bullish engulfing, closing on the 15, closing the M30 bullish. Obviously, we still got 15 minutes left. I think I need to see a bit of minor resistance form and then wait for price to approach that resistance, pop above it, and we might be popping back above this support here at 23,450. At that point there, we've got a clean candle to the upside, from the upside, sorry. We could fill that candle all the way back up towards the current daily high. So that could possibly be an option, but that will require waiting a little bit longer. 15 minutes closing now. We'll see how the next candle closes. Right, so we might be waiting on gold, guys. 4 hours forming a strong bearish candle. As mentioned, I really would prefer it to come down further to look for the buys. We'll see where we're at. Alright, so GJ pulling back, so could be possible buyers lower down on GJ. This is also buy. I'm just gonna now adjust this zone. To Discord, guys, those of you in the chat on the stream, I will be hosting an MY call later today. So if you're not yet involved in the Discord, the link is down below in the description. It is a free group, so do join. If we give away a heap in that group, analysis for pretty much all 3 sessions of each day. Live MY trading on Tuesday and Wednesdays, plus answering questions in the chat, checking out charts and things like that. So plus much more. You get fundamental analysis section. There is a crypto section if anyone is interested. Stock section as well. PPI, yeah, Ben, I know it's a big one, big few days. So forecast is to be more than the previous. So obviously changing the price of finished goods and services sold by producers. So if it's costing producers more to produce these items, then obviously that will suggest that CPI inflation will likely be on the rise as well. So that's something to keep an eye on. So that would also suggest that maybe wage growth is a little bit higher than what they'd like. Obviously the cost of fuel would have an impact on all that, the cost of to producing and to get the goods out there. So there's a lot to come. I mean, the next few days is going to be a telltale sign of the strength of the dollar moving forward. CPI obviously tomorrow, the big one. Also got the Fed chair Powell speaking later today, technically midnight my time. So that will be interesting to see what the rhetoric comes out of that speech from the Fed. CPI tomorrow is going to be huge, and then obviously unemployment claims, so that's going to be another big one. And that's basically it for the week. So most of it's out of the way. Well, actually Thursday, to be honest, but the all important one is tomorrow with CPI. So probably need to wait for that to see what sort of direction we could be trending throughout the week on gold. It's gold pulling back just now. This is fine. This is good. Ben may explain a push up on dollar pairs yesterday, pricing in. Potentially, yes. However, if it's costing more to produce these goods, if the economy is better than what they're saying it is, where people are still spending, then what that would suggest is CPI is likely not going to be going down. So therefore that would, you know, bode well for the US dollar, for the strength of it. So Yeah, it's a little bit conflicting. I suppose I remember hearing on Bloomberg that the Fed aren't even sure what's going on with it all. They're a bit puzzled by inflation at the moment. And I heard once again today driving back that there's a strong chance that they won't cut at all this year. But I think Euro sector and UK anticipating cuts quite soon, actually. Whereas here in Oz, I know they're saying that there could still be hikes before any cuts, so I don't think they're going to cut anytime soon here as well. So the Aussie's been one of stronger currencies against the US dollar. Still peanuts compared to what I remember it years ago. 66 now. I remember it back in 2011-12 when I got to $1.10, but I suppose every major was flying against the US dollar at that point. But the mean, from what I remember, is around that 70-cent mark, so it's still quite far below it. All right, we get sell options, guys. I sell limit order. Who's seeing what I'm seeing? So the 30-minute looks like it's going to close bearish. Now we have a bit more room too, so unless this candle makes the move within itself within the next 6.5 minutes, closes about 7+ pips, 8+ pips below low of that bullish candle. We could look at sell limit orders back at the low of that candle. So that will now be my focus, guys. Just tracking where this candle closes. At this rate, if it closes pretty much where it is, it's definitely valid. I don't want to tap into this support though. That's the last thing I want to do. I want it to pull up pretty much where it is. Close pretty much where it is. So it's still significantly below that bullish candle, engulfing it. And look to get involved on a sell limit order as it pulls back to tap into that level. The anticipation will flip, break its own low, what will be the previous candle's low, and end up heading back down towards that 23.35 sort of level. So that could be the option just now, guys. I'm just gonna check what the lowest point of that bullish candle is on my broker. It's 23.3795. We want this to stop though. We don't want it to continue down, because then it's tapped in within this candle. If that's the case and it does tap into this 23.35 so level, then I'm simply just going to wait to see how it reacts to it and look for maybe potential buys from lower down. So you can see how I adjust in accordance to the data printing. I have the plan, I create the rules, and that's it. So right now, what is setting up is an interruption pause candle play. As long as this candle doesn't tap into 25 21st, we could be on for a sell limit on the next candle in just under 5 minutes. $42 on the street, 29 likes. Not a bad ratio. Watch if I put this up though. People actually jump on and stay on to see what's going on. I guarantee you. Because right now, those same people just flicking through every single stream. Who's in a trade? Who's looking at a trade? All right, so where does it have to close? Let's suss this out, guys. I would say about that level just there. it closes below 23.37. 23.37.20. It could be valid. Sell now, sir. That's it, Ben. Exactly. Don't you know it? All right, so the 30 minutes tapped in. Oh, it's a little bit off-putting. That is quite off-putting, to be honest, because we're already within the current candle taps into support, and so far we are respecting it. So why that puts me off a little bit is because the new candle, especially if it pops down briefly at the open and then begins to pull back up, what that could be doing at that point there is pulling back further into the range, and potentially, I mean, we won't have confirmation until the candle closes itself, but potentially close back bullish on the M30, respecting this support. The tricky one, guys. Had that not been there on the 30 minute, had we had what it looks like on the 15, this scenario, I'd be more comfortable. But the fact that we've tapped in and so far bounced off it, yeah, I'd go a small, just a small entry. The hourly has no need to pull back and flip bullish too, and it pretty much will be almost flipping bullish once it tags you in, seeing it has lower high, lower low. Like I mentioned, if you are going to take it, I'd go a really small risk. All right, so it's going to be a nice strong closure. Yeah, 15 looks a lot better than 30. All right. Let's see. Once again, very small entry if you are taking it, guys, because it is at a 30-minute support. Does look clear at 15, does look like it has a bit more margin to go though if it begins to break the low. So anticipating it's going to pull back, tap into that previous bullish candle's low, reject that level, and begin to flip again. That is what I'm looking at, but once again, just a small entry. GJ still at support, so nothing on GJ. RS, thoughts on GU? So that's support. I want this support to be respected, otherwise there's a good chance we could head down. So strong catalyst candle at previous candle. Yeah, I would have preferred for it to close a little bit lower down. or for this candle to actually pop down first, which it pretty much is doing, then pop back up, create a bit more of an upward and then look to sell its break zone low again. I'd still be waiting for the closure below 125.470 at this stage for a sell, and wait for a bit of structure to form within this level to potentially buy it. Because right now it's just trying to break out of this consolidation, but no real confirmation just yet. Now on this one, I'd be really quick to manage it. Getting close. All right, I've just been tagged in. So let's see. I've got a really small entry, as I mentioned before. I'll let you know if I'm going to cut some partials. Still look to manage the trade, even though it's just a small entry. Let's see, let's see. Tony Golf, what's in? How have you been? All good, man. How are you? DJ back at the support. Just owning. All good, man. That's fair enough if you're in a buy. Not everyone's going to agree. Not everyone's trading in the same direction. That's Forex. I see a small opportunity. It's again, it's a riskier one because the level it's at, but otherwise it ticks the box, so that's why I've taken a small entry. And we will soon see. Oof. Alright, I've closed half. That push up, so about 7.5 pips. Yeah, it's moving. Yeah, it's not looking good, guys. And that's obviously it's the level it's at. It's a very strong level, so the 30-minute again holds are higher preference, seeing it's a higher time frame. So looking like it could be our first loss in quite some time on stream. All good. What's a small entry to me? I went like not even half. I've went like probably about maybe a third, roughly. DJ also coming down. The EU tries come down. You know what? The buyers could almost present as well, guys. If this candle closes bullish engulfing the M30, then what you've got also is closure above a resistance just recently formed. And that would flip my bias. Look for the buyers, to be honest. Because it is bouncing off the support, so we could get the Xauusd to look for a buy. Tommy Jordan, man, how are you? Not seen you in a while. Hope you're well, brother. Welcome, welcome. Just in some sell limit, well, in a sell limit trade on gold, which isn't going too well. Small, very small entry. I've taken like probably just a little bit less than a third of my normal position. Basically for 15, but the 30-minute is at a pretty strong support. So you mentioned prior to it, a little bit risky. There is a catalyst on the 15. You mentioned what the 30 could potentially do. That's why I've gone a very small risk entry. And if this 15-minute closes bullish, there are options to manage it again, just to minimize the loss. Because if it closes strong bullish, then what's likely to happen, you can create a bit of lower wick, begin to break the high of it. So it's probably a good option to manage the risk again. If it begins to close back a weaker bullish candle, it's a different story. So we've got just over a minute remaining on this candle. Brooks, how would you determine weaker bullish candle closing in 50% entire candle? Yeah, so you could use the fib. So if it closes below to 50, then it's a weaker candle. If it closes above it, then it's a stronger candle. So this rate looks like it's closing a stronger candle. So what I will likely be doing is cutting another half. And again, it's just about trade management, minimizing losses. I always like to keep my losses small. So that's what I'm just about to do now. Close another half. And just leaving a small position in. So I've closed 50% at -7 and a bit pips, and I've closed 25% at -5. So automatically I've mitigated my risk by substantial size, to be honest. So it's going to be a small loss, and if it goes my way, it'll probably still be a small loss, but unless it'll still be good to see it eventually flip and go my way, if that was to be the case. But all good, as you can see, cool, calm, collected, not bothered, just doing my thing, reacting to the data printing in front of my very eyes. That's all I'm doing. So this candle doesn't really have much of an upper wick. That could provide another option to manage it if it begins to flip back bullish. Yeah, I've closed. I'm out, guys. I'm out in a flip of that. That was 6, just over 6, I think it was. So I think that's a really well managed trade. What does that equate to? 0.6. That is absolutely nothing. We'll make that back easily on the next trade. So very well managed. If you are in it, I'd be very careful, because now you've created that lower wick and you've flipped the 15 back bullish. This next destination is likely to be the previous candle's high. and we could start popping above the most recent resistance. So I think we'll learn a bit about trade management in that trade, which is good. Good live example of how to manage a trade, keep it small. So not a bad loss at all. I would take that loss if that was to be my loss every time I take a loss, I'd be more than happy with that. That is absolutely not a problem at all. So first loss in a long time, guys, so it happens. Can't always win, but I think the important thing is that you manage to trade well, keep those losses small. Yeah, so if anyone's in it and you're still in it, just be wary of that. I would not want it to at least break its own high yet again. I'd definitely be out if it were me. Franco, very good risk management without any emotion. This is also scope to, yep, scope to learn. Your scope to beat it. All good, man. Yep, exactly. That's what I do anyway. I know other guys, other streamers will hold on to the full stop loss. I just don't like to do it. Doesn't matter even if I'm taking a smaller position than usual. I just don't want it to. I don't cling on. Once I see fit to manage the trade, technically, I'd rather do it and just keep the whole thing robotic and emotionless as possible. The whole scenario in profit and in a drawdown, or at a loss. That's what I like to do with my trading. Okay, if you're holding, all right. I'd be waiting to see if price closes above this resistance for a potential buy option, to be honest, because what that's going to do is close the 30-minute bullish engulfing as well. That to me will be a big catalyst for a potential buy. So that's what I'm waiting for at the moment. And GJ just looks like absolute rat shit at the moment. Not ready at all. It's just right back at support. So that's the next thing I'll be waiting on gold. The fact that we've tapped into 30-minute support and we are trying to bounce off it. And if we close bullish engulfing, not only that, we've got a further catalyst by closing above the most recent minor resistance form in the 15-minute time frame. Is pretty clean to the upside above that level. So that is where I'd potentially look for a buy moving forward. GU, Franco. GU is a tough one. It's a really tough one. First of all, I want to see a closure below at the moment. It's just consolidating. That is a pretty strong candle, but it's not yet a catalyst because it's still closed above the lowest point of the consolidation. So, and currently we are rejecting that level yet again, the current candle. So I don't really see much options for buys within this level because you buy it back into consolidation and be absolutely no margin. But I'd rather see maybe that closure below the 30 followed by a weak support on even the 15-minute time frame. If that was to eventuate, then probably look for my sales to take back down towards 125 to 70 roughly. But at the moment, I just wouldn't trust it. I just don't feel it has the legs at the moment to make the clean move. Okay, but then we can bottom, maybe back there to give them wick on the 30. Yeah, I know what you mean, but it doesn't necessarily have to. Because within it now, what we've done, 5 minutes forming a support, we've created a high low. So yes, most candles will have wicks in both directions, but not always. They don't always have to. I mean, this one here pretty much didn't. A few of these candles at this level most recent strong bullish candles at the current level had absolutely no lower wick, and they just popped to the upside and closed strong bullish. So it doesn't necessarily have to have that lower wick. But yes, I was taking that trade in anticipation that would tag me in and eventually pull back to retest the low and create that lower wick, but it wasn't to be because of the level it's at. So once again, it is what it is. Just goes to show you need to respect the higher time frame. Franco, yeah, I just don't like it, to be honest. It's really not trending. It's not giving me any clear direction just yet, so Kaspera, what's your thoughts on GJ? GJ is just consolidating right now. I mean, we did break above the consolidation to the left. We did close above the daily high at that point, and also pulled back that long wick and that bearish candle to retest it, only to close back above it. So at that point I was looking for buys above the bearish candles high at London Open, but we just sank. We sunk back into the range below. So I initially had this level marked in, and we've come back down to the most recent support. So right now on GJ, the buys likely going to be looking for them lower down. So you might not really have the margin to do so within the current level. If it does close a bullish candle, bullish engulfing candle, you're not really going to have the margin taken back up to the high. It could be the early option in anticipation will retest that resistance and begin to break above it to retest the current daily candles high. So potential buys above this support now, but otherwise buys upon them pull back a little bit further down. Definitely still interested in buys above the resistance, most recent resistance form, the bearish candle. Closure of that bearish candle 196522. We do close above it, then we're likely going to retest the current daily candles high at that point. So that would be an option for the buys. As for the sells, right now just played a range. So if we do pull back to retest this resistance at 19650, only to reject it, start to pop below that psychological round number, then I will look for a potential sell to take back down. That's what I would be looking at. But right now it's just a no trade. There's no confirmation for me on GJ to take a trade. GJ falls. That was a 1 hour epic fake out. Yeah, long way to the upside. Checking. So I want gold to close above for there to be a entry to the upside. If not, it is what it is. Likely we're not going to get another entry moving forward into today's stream. But you can see what I mean to about why I manage my trades, guys, because let's just say I'm only willing to risk 2 or 3% of a day. That loss in itself was a really small loss just because I managed it. It was a small entry, but it was a small loss as well. So therefore it gives me more options if I wanted to take another trade moving forward. So just over 2 minutes remaining. Let's see how gold does close. Just under a minute. Yeah, there's not much on GJ. I mean, if this candle closed bullish engulfing, well, that will close the M30 bullish with a long wick to the downside, which obviously is just close, so it hasn't. So new candle could just shoot up, seeing it's grab liquidity from that previous zone, and potentially retest the high of the resistance at 196.50 to 52 sort of level. So it hasn't done that. So to me, it's not a catalyst. So there is no entry. If it breaks its own high yet again, it's not a bad option though, to be honest. Seeing it's almost retested the high of the previous, and now it's popping back. So if it was to continue bearish, it has no need to pull back, break its own high, break the previous candle's high, and should continue to the downside just now. Gold did not close above. So therefore, for me, there is no confirmation just yet on gold to buy it. So I'd just be holding tight for the time being. But as of now, that looks the best of the bunch. Not great. Again, doesn't look fantastic though. 5 minute looks okay. Yeah. That's your next potential entry if anyone is interested. Not all that keen. Gold doing. Oh, GA looks good. Broken at support. Limit order sells would have worked. back of the, will potentially work back of a lot of that previous support. Yeah. Allow us to W for risk management. I agree. I think that was a really good example of how to manage risk and just keep it small, so it's a lot easier to cover it moving forward. Most of my wins, because I trade fixed lots, most of my wins are about probably about 1.5 plus majority of the time. So I'll easily get that back. Conspiro, JJ's been bullish for 7 days in a row. Crazy. Is it now? Yeah, it's been a strong move, hasn't it? Consecutive high lows, higher highs. So nothing yet to suggest that it is going to pull back further and buck that trend until we obviously close back a bearish daily candle. But however, seeing we have a high low, high high to the previous, as I mentioned before, we have no need to pull back and break our own low if we do so. And I feel it could be good chances to sell it. I'm going to be flipping the 30-minute structure at that point as well. We would have flipped it. So I really like the sells below 196.8. Conspiro, do you risk 1% per trade? Thank you for the sub. No, I risk quite often a lot more than 1%. That particular trade would have been about 1.5. But usually it's upwards of 3%, and that's because I trade fixed lots. But I'm comfortable and confident with how I manage my trades, and you guys see the win rate has been phenomenal. Doesn't mean I'm not going to go through a bad patch. It happens as a trader. You're always going to have losses. It's just how you go about managing that loss. If you are happy to let it go to full stop loss, that's fine. I am not. I don't do that. You guys see. Choose to manage the risk, which is what I do. Again, that just keeps me in the game for longer, in my opinion. It just makes it easier to cover that loss. I know there's other streamers that'll let it go to the full thing. And, you know, if that's the case, then you have to, in my opinion, when you take a win, you got to let it run a bit as well. Whereas you guys see, I don't need to really. I can start securing it at 10 pips or so. Majority of the bag if it's my full normal lot size entry. Because that's going to be a substantial, you know, profit. Look at GJ. Oh, wow. What is going on here? Is there some breaking news? Is this a pound thing or is this a dollar thing? I think it's a bit to do with the US dollar. All the majors are moving, but not as much as the pound, and unless it's just weakness in the pound as well. If anyone knows of any breaking news, I doubt it'd be that. Biden's attack tariffs on Chinese EVs. That was a while ago either way. Well, that makes things difficult, doesn't it? I mean, it doesn't. It might make things easier moving forward, to be honest. Member speech now, is there? There is a summit going on over in, I think, the Netherlands right now. Yeah, this one. EcoFin meetings. So it could be something coming out of that. Because I know the US are there, obviously, as well. They are represented, I think pretty sure the Fed, the leader, yeah, the Fed chair, Powell, Mr. Powell himself is there. Yeah, that's it. Sent by finance ministers from EU member states, and yeah, so I'm pretty sure the US are represented at that summit as well. So could be something coming out of that right now. But the good thing is, what this is doing, it's cutting through a lot of crap. So this could open up options for potential entries moving forward later into the day, closer to pre-NY. Gold bouncing again. financial juice. Okay. Yep, so there we go. That could be it. It's not unreasonable to believe that over summer we will see enough confidence to consider rate cuts. There we go. So that would obviously put a dampener on the currency for sure if they're talking about cutting rates. So it is more a pound weakness thing at the moment. We can cut rates while leaving our stance restrictive. All right, so the leaning towards cuts, and once again, what I heard on the way in today was it's more likely to happen sooner rather than later. So average earnings was 6%. That must have been a while ago. 6%. So that's, I wouldn't have thought that'd be great for inflation, to be honest. If there's more earning within the economy, there's probably more people spending, which will lead to inflation, which will likely not lead to any rate cuts. So a little bit conflicting there, but yeah, obviously it's what's been said though in the speech. So there we go. Gold, I feel, managed really well because it would have taken the stop loss out by now. Mr. Phil, good day to you. Conspiro, just 10 minutes ago I was complaining about how the market was moving so slow. This London session, yeah, I know, look at it now. Yeah, so GJ sells could set up a little bit later on. It's already made a significant move. The 4 hours looking good for if it does close below support, it will look really good for continuation on the new 4 hour candle. But at this rate, I'd probably rather wait for it to actually close. Wow, look at that. GU has just absolutely shit the bed, hasn't it? Wow, this is a big move. And this happens, guys. No way of predicting it. No way of knowing. Just melts from consolidation. It's not much you can do about it, to be honest. I'm not one who just sets and forgets a sell stop or buy stop order. I want to be on the chart watching how it approaches that level. Because every time I try to sell GJ, I always get wrecked. I like selling. I love selling, to be honest. I prefer to sell. I just no confirmation for me just there. Frank, would you let things settle down a bit before taking on trade? I would, personally. So could open things up for pre-NY. For those of you in the Discord, we might have some nice clean tradable areas. We might have some good confluences such as 4 hour counter probabilities. So that is what I'd likely wait for. Mr. Phil, you caught the GU move. Interesting. Not gonna, to be honest, I'm not gonna lie and say I'm a fan of it, because I mean, had that news not come out, there's no way of knowing if it's coming out or not in that regard, because there was no scheduled news. It's just what's being said. I feel it's a bit of a risk, in all honesty, man. Yeah, Frank, so that's what I'd be doing. I'd let things settle down. Gold doesn't seem to have the legs, but once again, it's still a lot of news to come, so it could be just range bound to make a clear move down, and would like to see it make a clear move off this support, but don't yet have the catalyst, so just need to wait. Breako, difficult to get GU and GJ trades after that big move. It is, just need to wait patiently, pretty much. That's all. I would wait for 4 hour closures. Simple. And it'd be very simple analysis. I'd just be waiting for the new catalyst creates up work. Look to see where we potentially could reject. The first level would be the most recent resistance, which is this level here, 196.10 sort of, 196.08. Break the lower high on forming that upper wick on a new 4 hour. And you got options to either sell it from a resistance or as it begins to break whatever the low of this 4 hour candle will be. That will be your 2 options on GJ. And what you could say is, if you do retest that level and start to consolidate, only to eventually flip back, goes above the resistance, back above this support, that could provide potential buy options as well. That's how I'd be playing GJ, in all honesty, guys. I'll just be waiting.
Hey, Justin.
G'day, mate.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing okay.
Nice one. Nice one.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, I actually, because of the way the last M30 closed on GU,
Yeah.
it closed like between the previous weeks and the low of the previous candle. So given that I had looked at this on the 4 hour, and you could see that the previous 4 hour candle break the high of the current 4 hour broke the high of the previous one, then came back up down to broke the low.
Yep.
So usually I use that as a trigger to take trades depending on the bias I have. Yeah.
Okay. As long as it's your plan, there's nothing wrong with it, man.
When the M30 closed like between this area, like within the zone, I just had that I had the sell stop below this area. Yeah. So once this broke the high, then it broke the low.
Yeah. Liquidity grab.
It had no reason to come back up to its own high if it had to. Yeah.
True. So I see. Yeah. I see that catalyst, man, because I don't know if you may have created a bit of a low wick, I'm not sure, to be honest, but as soon as you break the high of that previous candle, that bullish candle, you really have no need to pull back and break it slow. So what that likely could have been is just a liquidity grab back at the previous support here. If you begin to break it, then likely you've got clean structure to the left, which is what you definitely do. Likely head down to the next level of support, which is what it's done. So yeah, I can see why you took it. I think still it's a little bit, pushed by the news as well, so you got that on your side, but I understand why you took it. So yeah, it's not the worst trade, not a bad trade. Well done, it's a good trade because you've secured profits.
Yeah, it surprised me like the way it moved so fast because I wasn't expecting it. GU doesn't move that fast without it being about news or something.
Not usually. Not usually, does it? DJ occasionally, but even that usually requires a bit of a push from the news. But I think the analysis moving forward is quite simple. I mean, EJ is dropping. EU, all the majors are dropping right now.
Hey there, Justin.
How are you, brother? How are you?
Finally got from the airport, man.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Been an adventure for you again?
It was a big adventure, man. I'm glad I'm home. Man, I was a little upset that I wasn't in the actual trading itself while I was traveling. Yeah, but you guys caught some good trades over the past few days.
We've been killing it, man. The past couple of weeks in general. Unfortunately, today was a different story, but a very well managed loss. Very well managed. I think what was the original stop loss on? I think it was around 20 something or 30 pips, and I ended up closing it what was it, -7, roughly, I'm talking, it was -7.2 or something, -5 and -6.5. So very, very small loss, which unfortunately ends the winning streak, but it happens. It's going to happen at some point. So happy to do it, showing a good example of how to manage risk. That's a good thing. So it's still a W stream in that regard.
That is true. You're always W, always winning.
That's it, man. Always something to learn. Always something that we discover on stream. So what was the original entry? It was literally there. Stop loss was pretty much the high of that zone, which it may have tapped into. Yeah, it's basically tapped into a full stop loss. I think I had just right at that bearish candle's high, basically. So I was in anticipation this candle would tag you in and melt, but did not do so. So managed to trade in after different confirmations.
Yeah, I believe you try to never, you know, lose 100%. You know, you try to cut your losers short, correct?
Yeah, I do. That's how I roll. That's how I prefer to do things, to be honest. I know other streamers and other guys just let it ride. If it hits full stop loss, it hits it. But I've just never been one to like, I get really fussy in drawdown. So I like to, or automatically I start to look at how I can manage the trade once I'm triggered in case it goes against me. It's good to have a plan because not every trade's going to go your way. That's just fact. That's how it is in trading.
Did you explain, so I can probably listen to it later on this morning? Why was the catalyst of gold earlier today? You gave a signal.
The one I said could be a potential entry. Yeah. Very similar to this one, but higher up. So we had closed the bearish engulfing candle just here. So similar to entry we took, I think it was pretty sure it was last Wednesday on stream. That being the catalyst, that it could have looked to set a limit order. Personally, I was nowhere near a chart to actually trade it. I was way too busy for it, but nonetheless, I did have a quick look at it, and it literally tapped in, dropped about 7 to 10 pips, I think it was, and then popped straight back up within the 1 minute candle. So it probably would have given you enough margin to maybe secure some partials, or at least get to break even before eventually pop back up. It all happened like within a 1 minute candle, basically. But that is pretty much what I was looking at. Bearish engulfing, structure was bearish, tapping into this consolidation to the left, and that was where I was thinking it could have been a possible limit order. There was also possible sell just there. That would have been a really nice entry, and that's the only time I would take a sell without the 30-minute confirmation prior to it, because we've got we've got a relatively strong 15-minute bearish candle followed by a very weak pause, weak support, long wick to the upside, tap into this consolidation again. So that would literally be the only time I take a sell without the 30-minute confirmation just yet, and that would have worked. But you know, by the looks of it, it would have given me around 20 pips. Yeah,
because I was wondering, like, what was the criteria? Like, did we hit a support zone or a demand zone? I was thinking maybe it was a lower time frame demand zone that caused it. But again, I was at the airport, so I couldn't analyze everything.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Oof, charts are volatile just now. A lot going on.
So who's been your baby for this month of May? Has it been GJ or gold for all your good trades?
I've been trading gold more so than GJ, to be honest, but that's just my preference. I always prefer to trade gold.
Of course. Yeah.
But I don't think I've taken a loss on GJ for quite some time, to be honest. So yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
First loss in literally for me in about 3 weeks, because the one last week I still ended up in a small profit, the 2 separate positions, followed by a nice win not long after either way. Yeah, so that was the first proper loss I've had in ages.
By the way, I love the community, man. How everybody's super chill.
That's it, man. That's what I want.
And, you know.
That's it.
Yeah,
That's as soon as there's someone who I suspect, you know, causing a bit of trouble, then they're out straight away. So
they're out.
that's it. No questions asked. Just outski.
No, I'm also surprised, you know, how good the other people are in the community showing their analysis. You know, or they're everybody's contributing. It's good. It's good.
That's it. That's what I want. I want it to be a vibrant community where everyone feels, you know, like they're able to send in their opinion and not be judged in any harsh way, because everyone trades differently. I respect that. I'm happy to answer questions if it, you know, if it is something that I do myself on the charts. But if it's something I don't know about, then someone else within the group might actually have more of an idea. But yeah, it's just gonna answer these questions in the chat. RR, good morning to you, man. Crypto Loco, look at GA. So it's melting as well. So definitely it is pound weakness. So it's something coming out of that summit just now. Gold isn't moving much, surprisingly, unlike all the other pairs. Conspira popping about though. So it's up, down, it's all over the shop. Right now, it looks like it wants to bounce off this support, but once again, I don't yet have really a confirmation.
Could be setting up for New York though.
Definitely, it could definitely be setting up. I mean, it could be setting up for the next 5.5 minutes, but I don't like how it just keeps pulling back into this consolidation, to be honest. And also, I really need to get moving because I need to go have some dinner before I do an MY call with the Discord. Otherwise, it's just not going to happen. Yeah. So, all right. So let me conclude with the analysis moving forward on gold. So we are at that 30 minute support. Looks very familiar to what we have formed over here to the left in the past. So right now, like I mentioned earlier, we've formed resistance here on the 15 minute. For me, the best catalyst I could wait for at this stage is for the 15 minute and the 30 in that case to close above this resistance and then look for potential buys. The issue I have with that right now is the 4 hour. Is that correct? 1 hour and 30 minutes away? Just depends what broker you're looking at. And on a wonder, it's about to close. So I'm just going to go with the wonder because it's in line with the rest of the currency pairs. So I would say 4 hours about to close in 34 odd minutes, forming quite a strong bearish candle. It's likely to end up closing quite a strong bearish candle. Doesn't have to, but I would suspect, in my opinion, that will be the case. So therefore, what my options would be is still to wait for the new candle to pull back, maybe create slower wick first, begin to pop above this consolidation, respect the low of that previous 4 hour candle was low, and then it could be ready to head back up towards 23.45. Otherwise, definitely be looking for the sells from that resistance. Sells anywhere at the current level, I wouldn't bother with just now. I think that was worth a small option, that minor loss before. But now we're just bouncing off this support, so I'd need to wait for it to clear 23.32 to really start to be interested in any sells upon continuation. As mentioned before, GJ, I just let the 4 hour do its thing. That's the move right now. No point chasing it. Let new 4 hour candle open up, pull back. There is a chance, because we have not yet done so, it may pull back to retest 196.80, begin to reject that level there. Now be looking for sells from that resistance. If, however, it doesn't and doesn't pull back that far, just begins to consolidate, create a bit of an upper wick, and we start to close below it at a time of volume, close into pre-MY, close to MY open, that's when I'd probably trust the sells upon continuation below the current daily / 4 hour low. Otherwise, look to the left. Where can we bounce off? Still, that 50%, that previous weekly candle looks to be, sorry, not 50%, that's way down. As long as we respect the open, so I would say 195.10, which lines up with this previous resistance here to the left, basically all, yeah. As long as we respect that zone, this area of liquidity, then I'd be looking for my buys, looking for my colors to form within price action. to buy it back up. But if we start to flip the current weekly bearish, then I'd be looking for resistance to form on a pullback, to look for potential sales to sell in line with a weekly. We have a high low, high high to the previous, have no need to pull back and break our own low if we were to continue bullish. And that's it. So gold is not going to close above either way. So you get that.
Sorry, just,
How are you, brother?
hey, yeah, I'm alright, man. Just before you leave on gold, if you just put it on the 1 hour and point something out.
Yeah, go for it.
everyone wants to see this. And
Yes,
then if you
level.
can short a bit, yeah, if you can short a little bit to the downside as well, so we can have this zone and there's a zone below us. Yeah,
Just
a little bit further down, a little bit further down as well. Okay, so you see this zone that you have.
Yep, that resistance. Yep.
Yeah, so
The consolidation,
kind of treat that as so far as well, so that could be happening. So if you ever get involved in this, you know, just try to sell from here and buy from obviously this area until it breaks out the zone to one side. Otherwise,
Yeah.
this could be just holding up everyone at the moment, just building liquidity above and below.
Yep. That's what I normally
Yeah.
do. But once again, I just react to the catalyst I get within price action. See,
Yeah.
I'm only looking for, you know, small movements, 10 plus whatever pips, and
Yeah.
fully aware of that trade that I took that was high risk. So therefore, I mentioned well before any entry, it's going to be a very low risk entry personally, and I'm managed to trade. So, but I agree. It is. It's best option is to buy it from the lows, sell the highs, or buy it above the high, sell below the low. Simple.
And yeah, until
Simple.
it breaks out the zone. So once it breaks out the zone and you know you get a retest, then you're probably gonna leave the zone.
Yeah,
That would
correct.
be more of a trade. But for now, if you're gonna trade small time and little moves and stuff like that, just treat the bottom and the top. Just know it's actually zone.
Yeah, exactly.
Until later on.
That's the safest bets for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And if you're going to take anything in between, you have to be wary of the risk, and exactly as I was. So that's what I would say to the rest of you guys as well. Anything in between is high risk, so do be cautious with it. Yeah, I'm in agreement. GJ closing strong, so nothing. Alrighty guys, I really have to get going, otherwise I'm never going to be ready for an MY call.
All right, man.
Have a good one. I
rest.
might catch you later on.
All right, bro.
All right, guys. Have a good one.
Cheers guys, take care. Thank you to the guys in the Discord. All right, everyone else guys, if you can, if you have not done so yet, make sure you hit the like button on the way up. A really good example today of how to manage risk. Again, I feel really good with it, to be honest. So yep, W stream, I agree, Saxy. I think for me it's a W stream because it's just a small loss and a good example of how to manage risk in drawdown. So would have hit full stop loss by now either way. So if anyone is interested in any of the services I do provide, there is down below in the description a way of contacting me through the email, so send me an email. But otherwise guys, you know the deal. Join the free Discord. I'll be doing an MY only Discord members only call later on, so do join. It's for free. That will be in about 2 and a bit hours from now. So those guys, I will see you on the call. Everyone else, thank you for joining. Tomorrow I'll be on from 6:30 a.m. roughly UK time. Till then guys, trade safe, take care, and bye for now. Catch you then. Cheers.